as we're still driving your business here on your daily Kickstarter. That is a smart immense business. But of course, now this time we're heading into our business tips and quotes, as it's very important to start your day inspired as a way to ensure that you will be able to run your enterprise effectively. But before we get into that, don't forget the markets on the Zabo. Just a few minutes on the countdown for the markets to open. Zabo, a platform from Altex, we just made your trading experience much more easy and friendly. Start292 hashes the USSD code definitely that will lead you to quite lots of options where you can buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000 you get in shillings. But definitely you can invest more than that. That's just the minimum requirement. Now you will be able to buy these bonds and make a difference in life. Markets opening, of course, 8:15 till 3:15 p.m. effective Monday to Friday. Except on the weekends and the public holidays when you can't access these markets for you to trade. But at least you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make some huge profit and make a difference for your life. Zabo made this a reality. No hassle, no paperwork. Zabo says, my money, my future. And also East Africa says, do something new. Now heading straight into our business tips and quotes as we start off the day as businessmen, as entrepreneurs, as people that have careers to pursue and make a difference in life. Now it's time we take a look at our tips and quotes. But firstly, let's review the business tip of the day. Yes, now the business tip of the day here says that you shouldn't focus on why you can't do something. Yes, you shouldn't focus on why you can't do something, which is what most people do. They focus on the fact that if you have something that you can't do and it becomes a big deal that you can't do it, but rather you should focus on why perhaps you can and be one of the exceptions. Yes, be one of the exceptions. Now let's break it down. You shouldn't focus on something you can't do. Now this comes to the state, I can get this from a state of majority of the people in this world have insecurities, and these insecurities are actually breached on because of things that they can't do, and probably and that makes them feel like they are not worthy of living life. And also self-doubt comes in here because you feel like you can't do something. Self-doubt and low self-esteem, all those, if you combine them all together, they'll bring you down to that point as why people focus on something that they can't not do. And maybe sometimes it's not about that, but it's just, can I say, it could be something that it's laziness. Okay, there is a difference between passion, because there is something you can't do and you're not passionate about it. Yes, that can also be understandable, but there is also the dimension whereby somebody simply doesn't want to do anything about it, but they can't do it, but they just don't want to do anything about it. That's now contributes to some sort of a laziness, but that shouldn't be the focus anyway. Getting back to the point here, you shouldn't focus on what you can't, something you can't do, which is what most people do, but you should focus on why perhaps you can. Yes, the very energy that you put out there to prove how you can't, the energy you waste, the calories you burn in your brain when you're thinking so hard of what you can't do. What if you decide to focus them that you can actually do it? It will create a much more positive and meaningful impact when it comes to execution. So that is the bigger factor. Don't focus on why you can't do it, but focus on you can't do it. That would create a distinction. The fear it creates when you think of you can't do it. Now, when you convert that you can't do it, it will, instead of creating fear, it will create confidence and boldness within your soul, and you will be unstoppable and you will execute it efficiently. Well, that is it for our business tip of the day. Now let's sum this up as we take a look at the business quote of the day. Yes, now the business quote of the day says that to win without risk is triumph without glory. Yes, that is a very true reality. Actually, even we know that most cases, when we look at investments which bring out the best returns in life, they're always associated with the highest risks. And so Literally, that's how life really operates. Now, risk in this incident, we can call it believing. You know, it comes in with the aspect of faith. Do you believe that if you invest 20 million in this, you'll get back 100 million? You see that? Of course, 20 million and you're getting back 100 million, that means there is a risk. You know, that's a huge return as compared to investing 20 million and you're getting back 25. You know, there is a difference there. But you have to weigh and understand the risk and have faith. Take that leap of faith, take the bold step, invest that. In that way, you'll be surprised with what you can actually execute when you choose to do that. Well, that is it for our business tips and quotes for the day, and hope they are quite important for you and they're able to move you throughout the day or even the week, depending on how you program yourself and perceive matters of life. Well, now let's cross over to the social media trends and see what's really trending out there, and it's of business sense. All right, now taking a look here, this is at is at 1,000 Brains. Yes, 1,000 Brains says. Of course, now taking a look here, Nambole Stadium of Uganda in renovation versus Ambaro Stadium of Rwanda in renovation. Of course, the East African community as a region has never hosted African Cup of Nations. Yeah, that is true. That's never hosted. And now we're seeing a comparison of two stadiums being put into constructions. That is at 1,000 Brains. So take a look, compare and contrast. Of course, on your left is Nambole and right is Amahoro Stadium being put into being constructed there in Rwanda. Of course, now this is at just Geiston. Of course, he says off Chireka Road heading to Nambole, there lies this road that has been embedded with potholes. Now, for over 10 years now, this port will get worked on and it will be back to default settings in just 2 months. Now, it must be someone's ATM. The hashtag is Kampala Pothole Exhibition here. A road heading to the National Stadium. Looking at those potholes, and you know, seems like somebody just came and dug them there with a hoe. Well, this is at Mukono Gamu. Yes, he says, I don't think anyone expected the Uganda People's Defense Force to have Nambole ready for the Cranes game in June. And this is at Ninye Michael. He says, I wanted to comment on Alimba on Ogwang's promise to have Algeria in Nambole. I kept a distance because I pass in Nambole every evening. I see no progress. Now the area is bushy to the roads around, wow, far away. Yeah, I think that is what he's trying to put out there. The English, probably the grammar used wasn't, but I understand what he's trying to portray out here, saying there is no actually progress happening at the stadium. Of course, yes. So, well, that is what he thinks regarding that. But the authorities assure us that there is something ongoing on. These are simply opinions of people. They are not opinions of Smart24 regarding this. So, yes, he says nothing is taking place. Now, this is at Lioness. 005 rather. The Uganda Cranes AFCON qualifier game for June 2023 will be played in Cameroon due to the unfinished works at the Nambole Stadium, Uganda Zabu. You see, of course, we thought probably by June, there were anticipations that by June the stadium will be ready, and it's not yet. This is at Sean Mubiru. Looking at the Uganda People's Defense Force did, looking at what UPDF did to Buhinga, I was dumbstruck while looking at the works in Nambole. I'm pretty sure they don't even know who supplied the blue sample seats that are fastened on the stumps. Someone in Nambole threw the minister under the bus on the completion date. Yeah, that is that. This is at Agre K7. It says, I can afford time and a ticket and Nambole, but we are playing at home in Cameroon. Wow. Potential personnel that could have bought tickets, and so this is a loss for the country. It's losing out on potential revenues, which can be very vital. Now this is at FUFA, at official FUFA. It says today, Tuesday, 25th April 2023, being the deadline set for the CAF for all federations to submit names of avenues to be used for the qualifiers due in June. The FUFA executive has taken a decision to host the Uganda Cranes next AFCON 2023 home fixture against Algeria in Cameroon. Yeah, just in brief, a statement from FUFA regarding the next game where Uganda is set to play the African Cup of Nations qualifiers. So you take a look at through that. Of course, this decision comes after FUFA inspected Mandela National Stadium on Monday, 24th April 2023, and confirmed that the stadium was not ready to host the qualifiers that resume in June. However, FUFA expresses its disappointment at the latest ongoing works at the Mandela National Stadium following yesterday's routing site visit by the Minister of State for Sports, that is Honorable Ogwang, FUFA President, and Honorable Moses Magogo, Hassim, and stadium officials. Of course, we see that FUFA has described that the work it's very slow and insensitive to cries of the public to be able to host the matches in Uganda. So that is how things are really showing up there. Uganda playing its next game in against Algeria rather in Cameroon, as the national stadium is not yet ready to be put into use. So that is the situation. That is the country. But of course, we anticipate the best regarding this very, very matter. Well, still on the social media trends, telling you what's happening, what's trending around the country, and it's making some sort of a business sense. Now, 17 minutes past 8 now. Let's get into our next update. Like I said, for the people most especially into the IT sector, quite potential employment opportunities, most especially to the young youth out there. And this time around, we are looking at business process outsourcing, and Uganda has been observed as a potential business process outsourcing destination. Now, of course, government is set to establish a stable IT infrastructure to favor the cause, and the cause is business process outsourcing. And we shall see that vast employment opportunities to be availed to the local skilled young population here. Now, of course, in here, the discussions shall be seeing Colin Babirakamo, that is Director E-Government Services, and the Rogers Karebi, Chairman, and that's Uganda Business Process Outsource Association of Uganda. Let's get into this discussion.
Today we were unveiling the plan for an international BPO conference and awards event in September. This awards event will be to bring together multiple countries here in Uganda to showcase our Uganda as a destination, but also to bring players together from around the world who will be able to talk and showcase about this business process outsourcing. Business process outsourcing is a major direction for us as a country, especially for our youth who are looking for jobs without having to leave the country. We can find them professional jobs. There are two major kinds of outsourcing that we're looking at. We're looking at business process outsourcing. You all know about call centers, for instance, which is the most common. India and Philippines have built an economy on call centers. We are saying Uganda is a better destination. We have a good time zone. We have good English speakers. We have youthful, educated youth here who can actually take a better and more affordable rate. So we are positioning Uganda now as the true BPO destination. It will require a number of things. It will require for us to provide the right environment for our youth to thrive and for the companies to thrive. And therefore, as the National IT Authority and as the government, we have agreed on a number of incentives to give these organizations and companies. We want to have them less than half the price of internet on the market, so that their price of internet is cheaper. We are providing space for some of them because they require large spaces to host their youth. But we are also saying we should be able to work with them for more affordable devices around the country, like computers and laptops, to be able to help them to work better. In terms of infrastructure and connectivity, we want to make sure that this BPO is spread around the country. It is regional. It is in Gulu, it is in Jinja, it is in Barara, it is in Karamoja. We must make sure that our youth from all the areas are actually benefiting. We have a pilot now in Luwero. We're hoping to go live very soon with that BPO in Luwero, so that we can have the Luwero youth begin to participate in international business. They can also begin to work while working for companies outside. We have a challenge, of course, in reducing the price of internet further. But this is coming with the introduction of the fiber optic cable as NITA that we are doing. We are laying cable around the country. We are only half of the districts now covered. In the next 4 years, our idea is to reach every parish in the next 4 to 5 years with internet connectivity. Every hospital, local government, school in those next 4 to 5 years. We have now received the funding. We are beginning to do the work, and that will help to actually spread this connectivity to also enable business process outsourcing.
Some of the countries that have expressed interest in joining us are largely the United States of America. We have Canada, we have South Africa, we have the United Kingdom, Australia. India is going to send a large delegation from NASCOM. NASCOM is the association that is attached to outsourcing in India, and it's a very big association. We have Kenya and Rwanda. So far those are the ones that have confirmed participation. But also to continue on the activities, we've talked about launching the go-to-market strategy on day 2, and we shall also recognize the players in the sector who have helped develop the sector through the BP Awards, and that will be the activities within the 2-day event.
Well, business process outsourcing there, and quite a stable avenue for providing employment, most especially to the young skilled population. Now, you see, there are quite so many companies in Europe, in America, most especially those that are IT related, developing softwares. And now with the current digital uptick in Uganda and current digitization, which is really growing up rapidly, our Ugandans now are in position to be availed, outsourced to actually work for these companies. You can work in a company in the United States of America, in Europe, Asia, but when you're in Uganda with a favorable pay, for you there, because you've been outsourced. And some of these softwares are built by Ugandans here and then taken back for further review to see how best they can really operate and perform. Simply because they have noticed that actually Ugandans are educated and they actually know what they are doing when it comes to innovations and putting up things together. So for any person, it may not be necessarily innovation, but other related aspects. He mentioned over in the discussion there, he mentioned something to do with call centers, how the country of India has built an economy on call center. And these are people that because talking about call centers, English is a widely recognized language, and it's the one which is normally used. And we speak better English than Indians, actually, talking about that fact. So why can't we build an economy? So NITA says that Uganda is a potential destination for business process outsourcing. We can build an economy on this. Of course, not entirely, but a portion of this economy can be really witnessed from that particular outsourcing as we acquire these contracts from the different companies, and revenue will be flowing in, and this will provide a potential tax base for the Ugandans who are not in position to pay taxes once they're employed into these companies, and once they are employed, once they are outsourced by these companies to help them work on the softwares. So that is something very, very productive in a way. So even the government now, away from that, is looking forward to ensure that the IT infrastructure is really made appropriate, because You cannot be outsourced unless you have the IT gadgets. You need a laptop and you need a stable internet. And well, away from the stable internet, the data rates are also are going to be made favorable by the government to ensure that actually you can do your work efficiently. You have the right IT infrastructure, data prices, at the same time the internet speed. Of course, NITA lately is making sure that they use what we call Ethernet cables, which are fast when it comes to distribution of the internet signal. So that would be also the right approach for Uganda to be a part of this great move. Well, 25 minutes past 8, still on your daily kickstart of Smart Means Business as we bring you the latest into the world of business, both local and international. Now we're going to get into a short break, and when we return, sports, business, and entertainment in the pipeline. Stick around.